Hello and welcome to VCSP how-to videos. In this video we're going to talk about license management and integration with VCSP Pulse in Veeam Service Provider Console. You might ask, what's actually VCSP Pulse? If you're just getting started building your own Veeam service for your customers, VCSP Pulse is a system which allows you as a service provider to create license keys, assign them to the customers, revoke them, extend them, so basically performing any daily management tasks related to licensing. Starting from the console version 6, it's now possible to perform all those tasks right in the console UI. All you need to do is to open Configuration, Plugins, VCSP Pulse plugin, configure it, and done. Now you can do all your license management tasks right in the console UI. In addition to that, it's fully supported for reseller tier. What does it mean? It means that if your reseller logs in with their reseller credentials, they can also use VCSP Pulse plugin once they configure the connection between ProPartner and VCSP Pulse. It's done just via a single token. I'll show it in the demo. You as a service provider remain full control over how many points can be consumed by each reseller, and also you can even disable the VCSP Pulse functionality for some of them while keeping enabled for others. Talking about license usage reporting, as Service Provider Console collects the usage from all different platforms, backup replication, Veeam agents for Windows, Linux and Mac, as well as Veeam One and Veeam Backup for Microsoft 365, it collects all the usage from those platforms as well, putting it into a single PDF report once a month. So at the beginning of the new month, if you have the automatic report approval option enabled, the report will be generated so you can review it, make sure that everything is correct, and then click approve. Once the report is approved, you just collect its data and fully fill in the Pulse report. This is especially handy because Veeam Service Provider Console with that functionality becomes a centerpiece for everything related to license management and license usage reporting, which is great because you want to spend more time onboarding the customers and looking for new customers, making sure you deliver a better service, rather than focusing on spending time on collecting usage reports and doing some calculations and so on. And on top of that, you can always save even more time by using APIs to integrate and automate. In Veeam Service Provider Console version 6, there is full integration with VCSP Pulse capabilities right into the APIs, which means that if you are running your own custom portal and you are really into integrations, you can just simply use the API calls and not spend your time in the UI instead of that. One of the use cases where the use of API could be especially beneficial is if you are doing auto provisioning for your prospects. So let's say a new customer comes in and wants to try out your service. So you auto provision, auto create the company using the API, and on top of that you can automatically create and assign licenses to them, which makes an all-around service for your customers without any manual work or any involvement from your side. To sum it up, console is the right place to go when you need to perform any license management task. You just open the configuration menu, plugin library, and then you configure VCSP Pulse plugin. Starting from that, you can do all of the license generation tasks right from the console UI. In terms of tenants here, we have a huge variety and different workloads across the board here. So you can generate keys for Veeam Backup replication servers as well as Veeam Backup for Microsoft 365. And on top of that, Veeam One workloads as well as Veeam agents and public cloud workloads can be also easily remotely licensed right from the console UI. Please mind that all of the Azure and AWS integration is done through the backup replication server, which means that you need to first connect your AWS and Azure appliances to the backup replication server and then connect this backup replication server to the Service Provider Console. And now let's jump into the demo and take a look how those sections can be performed in the UI. And now we're in Service Provider Console UI. Here I'm running version 6. Of course, some of the capabilities of the future versions are not available here. So in order to configure VCSP Pulse plugin, you click Configuration, then Plugin Library, then you find VCSP Pulse button, open it up, This will open the plugin menu where it can be configured. Here in this installation it is already configured, so what I can do is I can show you what's the process for you. You click configure button, and here you need to insert the connection token. How to generate the token? You need to just click this link, which will open the ProPartner portal and ask to log in with your ProPartner credentials. Once you logged in, you will be redirected to the propartner.veeam.com/swagger page where you can generate the token. You can set the expiration date for the token, so if you need it for security purposes, you can set a shorter period of time here. Let's say I set it for month here, then I hit generate and the token is generated. Now I copy this token and insert it into the connection token window. And that's it. Once it is done, VCSP Pulse plugin will automatically connect to your ProPartner account, and this way it will connect to the Pulse itself. Once it's done, when you go to companies, you should see all of your Service Provider Console companies as well as VCSP Pulse companies. And what's the next step for you here is you need to map the companies existing in VCSP Pulse with Service Provider Console companies. If you are just getting started, the list will be empty, so it'll be an easy process. You just create new company in the Service Provider Console and you enable this option here in order to auto create them in VCSP Pulse. But if you're already running Service Provider Console for quite some time, then you find some companies in Service Provider Console which are not assigned to Pulse companies. In this case, you just select the company, click map to, and then select the company in Pulse which you need to map to, and vice versa. So here I'm showing the example of the company which exists in Pulse, but it doesn't exist in Service Provider Console. And as I have all of my Service Provider Console companies already assigned, all I need to do in this case is just click create company and then select in Veeam Service Provider Console. What will happen is Veeam Service Provider Console will automatically create the company just mimicking the one which is existing on the VCSP Pulse system. Also, if you're working with customers who have multiple branch offices and they have multiple companies in Service Provider Console, you can merge them. In order to do that, you select multiple companies, then in merge options you click merge, and what will happen is in Pulse there will be a parent company created, and all of the license keys will be issued under this parent company. One important note is that in order to enable all the company management, make sure that you have this toggle on. The next step is license key management, so in order to perform license key management right from the plugin, please enable this option here. On the license key menu, you can find out information about all license keys which had been issued to tenants. So in order to create a new license, let's say I have onboarded a new customer which is using Veeam Backup for Microsoft 365. I hit new license. Here I select the contract under which the license is going to be issued. Next I need to select the product, in my case it's Microsoft 365, and then the expiration date, so until when I want to give the license. In my case I want just to give a short test drive for the customer, so I select 1 month. Then I hit next, and here I can now add the number of workloads I'd like to give to them. So for Office 365 this could be only users. For Veeam Backup Replication, this will be virtual machines, servers, etc. So you can limit how many workloads each customer can manage with the license key. Here it's users. The customer said they want to try it just for 50 users, so I'll do that. We will automatically calculate the amount of points which are going to be consumed by this number of users. And so it seems like it's done. I hit next, see the summary, and click finish. Once it's done, let's say the template of the license has been created, but the actual license is not created yet. The license will be created when I assign it to a certain customer of mine. So when I do hit license actions, here I can click assign, and then I can select the company to which I want to assign the license. In this case, I'll assign it for some kind of test client, the one who wants to do this test drive, and click assign. Once the assign action has been selected, the assigning process will actually generate the license key in the VCSP polls and issue it for the name of this customer. But what if you have your own backup servers running on your hosting environment, protecting your infrastructure as a service customers, and you need to also assign a license to that one? How can I determine if it's a client, if it's a reseller, or if it's a service provider? It's quite easy actually. Let's show it on an example of copying the license. So I have a customer, so single customer use license issued for Veeam backup application. So all I need to do is here, for example, click copy. So I immediately copy the license. It's just to skip the license creation menu. You can do it the same with a new license as well. And then when on the license action I click assign, here you have an option to select the type. If it's a client, so it's a customer's and user single use license. If it's a reseller, it's a license which reseller can assign to their customers. Or if it's internal. So if we're talking about hosting services or infrastructure as a service customers, and you have a single backup server with, let's say, self-service portal and so on, you just issue it for internal use. And here, immediately the name of your company will pop up. By default, it's my company, but you can rename it. And then you hit assign, and the license is going to be assigned to your internal hosting needs. Now let's remove this license from here, as we don't really need it, and create one last license which was requested by our backup application customer. So here, let's select Veeam Backup Application Enterprise Plus product. In the description, let's type in how-to videos, right? So as of workloads, talking about backup application, as I mentioned, it's a whole variety of workloads. Servers, which are Veeam Agent for Windows, Linux, server versions, virtual machines, workstations, cloud VMs, which are AWS, Azure, as well as GCP, file shares, and applications. So here I'm going to select virtual machines, and let's say it's 20 of them. And in addition to that, we have some newly deployed Veeam backup for AWS workloads. So I select cloud VMs, and again, let's say 15. So that was the request from customer. Again, number of points which is going to be consumed by that is automatically calculated. Again, you won't be charged for this number until the customer who is using this license fully utilizes all of the workloads specified here. So basically, if he reports 10 virtual machines, the usage report will generate it as 10. So we do not charge anything extra here. Once we're done, we click next and then finish. Again, we need to assign the license to a certain customer. License actions, assign. From the list of clients, let's select the client named LabSouth and hit assign. Now the assigning action is being performed, the license has been generated. The last action, which can be done in the Pulse portal, Pulse integration, is Resellers. So on Resellers menu, I see the list of my Service Provider Console resellers. In our case, it's only one. And we can map them to the Pro Partner accounts of your resellers. So I just click Map to, and what I see here is information message that my reseller himself has to generate token and enable the Pulse integration. So it's exactly the same process. They see the VCSP Pulse integration plugin in their menu, and all they need just to enable click configure, generate their own token through their own Pro Partner portal, then click connect, and once it's done, they are fully integrated with Pulse themselves. So you can map them to the VCSP Pulse company and see, and they can generate the keys themselves. From the Resellers menu, if we exit the plugin, the Reseller Management is enabled once you enable this option for the reseller company. So if you click Exit Configuration, then go to Resellers, select the reseller, go to Properties. In License Management menu, we can enable license creation for this reseller, then select the contract ID which they can use and the points quota. So you have full control over how many resources this reseller can assign to their companies, as well as you can specify the hard quota for them on how many, let's say, workstations or servers they can discover and protect. So that's it about reseller functionality. The rest of the process for them is exactly the same as for service provider. They log in, they go to configuration, plugin, and do exactly the same actions. Now let's proceed to licensing menu and talk about each tab in details here. As Service Provider Console is all about license management for any workloads, let's start discussing which license you can install and where. So first of all, you see the overview menu and then license status. If you click valid, here you see information about license key which was used during Service Provider Console installation. You can check out the other video to see this exact step where it is done. This license is only utilized by agents which are directly managed by Service Provider Console. Here we are talking about discovery process for Windows agents, discovery of Linux agents, discovery of macOS agents. So once they are protected, they are directly managed by the Service Provider Console. This license is not consumed by the, let's say, agent policies created on underlying backup application server of your customer. I know it might be a little bit, challenging to understand, but that's the process. So this license is only consumed by one thing, by agents which are managed by the console. So if you do not do such type of license management, if you're only managing backup servers, let's say, then you don't need to give really a lot of points to this license. So there is no purpose for that. At any moment though, you can install a new one. You can just click install license and select a new one, or you can click an update now to renew the license if it's possible right now. On the overview tab, you can see the trends of usage, license usage, the current usage for agents, and that's exactly the agents which are directly managed by the Service Provider Console here. Cloud Connect server status and the status of its license, backup application servers of your customers and for your own hosting needs, Veeam One as well as Veeam Backup for Microsoft 365. On the bottom, you can select the specific product and the type of workload to see how month to month the changes. So usage reports we'll skip for now. Let's go to Cloud Connect. On Cloud Connect, again, once you install the backup application with Cloud Connect license, you already have the license in there. However, if you want to update it, give it a key with more points available. Let's say you're given a lot of disaster recovery as a service offering, and your replication is growing really high. So you click install from VCSP polls, and you can just select the new license key which you have created in VCSP polls plugin. So talking about backup application servers, here you see the list of all backup application servers. You can filter them out, so I have a couple of servers with expired status here. So, but let's say that I need to extend the number of units issued for this specific installation, and accidentally it's exactly lab south we were talking about before. So I'm clicking install from VCSP polls, and here you have it. Here you have the license key which we have created for just a minute ago in VCSP polls plugin. So I click install, and then the license will be automatically pushed to this client, to this client's backup server to be correct. So talking about agents, in agents menu you don't have this install from VCSP polls, etc., because agents are automatically licensed when they are discovered and protected. So basically, when console sends the installation file for Veeam Backup for Windows, this will automatically license them as well, just to be able to remotely manage them, configure policies, and so on. So all you can do in this menu is just to revoke the license key. Let's say your customer is ramping down and you need to remove certain licenses. You click revoke license key and this will switch to free mode, and agent will no longer be managed. Next, it's Veeam One. I don't have any Veeam One servers connected, neither of my customers nor for my own hosting needs. However, the process is exactly the same. You click install, you can install an LIC file, or you can install from VCSP polls, one of the generated keys. And the same comes for Veeam Backup for Microsoft 365. One important thing regarding the license management process is that you can map the company in Service Provider Console to the organization in Microsoft Office 365. That's really important when, for example, you have one Veeam Backup for Microsoft 365 server and you have 10 different customers on it. And those customers do also exist as companies in Service Provider Console. As a result, you can just use a dedicated plugin for Veeam Backup for Microsoft 365 for that purpose, and map the companies in console to the organizations in Microsoft 365. That's really useful when you have multi-tenant installations of Veeam Backup for Microsoft 365. So now we have discussed all of the options on how to license certain objects, how to revoke the licenses, how to generate license keys, and the last step here is the usage reports. So you waited for a first month. For the first month, all of the workloads which have been just protected will not be shown in the report as a using license because they are not yet using it, they're just trialing it, or they are new workloads. And starting from the second month, the report will be filled with those workloads which you have protected. So for you, the process is really simple. In the beginning of the month, you have a report generated for all of the workloads, which you can immediately approve or review. The review process looks like that. If we click on the already approved one, we can also see the review. You will see the list of all companies and their workloads, and you can take a look at which type of workloads consumed which number of points. And it's all available for cloud services as well as managed services. So here we're talking about backup servers of your customers, and hosted services. Here we're talking about your infrastructure as a service platform, the keys which were generated under internal name, right? So when the report was initially generated and this menu pops up, you can review the report and adjust the usage. While adjusting the usage, you can specify how many workloads, for example, were migrated, and that's why they should not be, they are counted twice for some reason, so you can review this here. Once review is done, you can click apply and the report is finalized and generated. So if we take a look at the generated report, here we will see the summary of all workloads which were protected or licensed by the Service Provider Console, their consumption, price per point, and so on. Then you see a breakdown on per company basis, and then even more detailed with even specifying license ID details for each installation, how many licenses were consumed. If there are any problems with collecting data from certain servers, you will see this warning message appear, and that means you need to manually collect the license usage from that installation. So overall, this is a single report which you review, and then information from that you use to upload the polls. So talking about other options available here, automatic report approval means that on the customer's backup servers, their usage will be automatically approved, and there will be no need for them to click that they approve the license usage for the previous month. This will lead to the situation when you have your license report generated in a really fast manner, and you don't need to wait until the 5th day of the month for report to be generated. Let's say you're waiting for the report for August and it's September 1st. If you have automatic report approval on and all of the customers are running, let's say version 10 or 11, then all of the usage coming from the installations will get automatically approved, and you will not need to ask customers to manually click approve button or doing RDP to all of your backup servers to do the approve manually. In addition to that, you can send the usage report automatically to a certain email. That would mean that your accounting, let's say, can receive the usage report and make sure that everything is correct. And that's pretty much it. So the Service Provider Console is a comprehensive, really useful tool for all things related to license management. The fact that we're using the same exact single port access to customers' agents, to customers' backup servers, makes it really useful to remotely generate license key using VCSP Pulse plugin and then send them over through this channel. So you no longer need to manually log into each backup server to perform those tasks manually. Instead, you can do it all right from the Service Provider Console interface and VCSP Pulse plugin interface. So stay tuned for other videos. Thank you for your time. Have a nice day. Cheers.